Today, we're celebrating Earth Day with Disney Nature's polar bear, National Geographic's Explore the Last Tepui, and The Biggest Little Farm, The Return. We're also chatting with Marvel's Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, the cast and crew of Better Nate Than Ever, and so much more. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Andre. This is What's Up Disney Plus, where we talk all things Disney Plus. Earth Day is a celebration of our incredible planet. It reminds us how important it is to protect Earth in sustainable ways.
And in honor of the place we call home, we get to hear from the people behind Disney Nature's polar bear, National Geographic's Explore the Last Tepui, and The Biggest Little Farm, The Return. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Alistair Fothergill.
I'm Jeff Wilson, and we're the directors of Disney Nature's Polar Bear.
Disney Nature Polar Bear is an amazing story of a 15-year-old female polar bear looking back at her life, looking back at the challenges she's had to bring up her cubs in one of the most demanding and fast-changing habitats on our planet.
Filming polar bears in their natural environment is perhaps one of the most enchanting experiences. You're working with an animal that's the queen of its habitat.
There's no doubt that after filming, both Jeff and I did look at our planet in a different way. We'd always knew that it was changing, but it was striking. I don't think we knew it was changing so fast. It left us thinking, my goodness, we need to change now. We need to do something if we're going to save the polar bears.
It does drive you to make even the smallest change in your behavior. You know, how much you consume, how you choose to use energy, you know, what you eat as food. The overwhelming message for me is how precious the natural world is and how important it is for us to recognize that it's important to all of us. Our world is inherently connected to theirs.
It's an unbelievably beautiful world still. There is some amazing wildernesses out there full of wonderful, wonderful animals.
That preciousness and that interconnectivity is so important for everybody to understand and to drive change.
National Geographic's Explorer the Last Tepui is a chronicle of my, quote, last expedition to some fabulous places in South America that have mesas called tepuis, and one of which was part of a river system I have been exploring for many years, and it was the last link in my work of that area.
This is a crazy expedition to share with the world how this is one of the most biodiverse hotspots on the planet.
Yeah, it's been a 20-year process to get to this point, to really properly tell Bruce's story and the story of this amazing place in the world.
I'd like not to think it was my last tepui, but considering my age, it probably was. My swan song.
The filming all felt pretty casual and pretty fun. I mean, just going through the jungle and finding new species is pretty adventurous.
I heard from the guys of the filming crew that it was one of the most challenging conditions they ever faced. That's because of the high humidity.
The filming experience was one of the most difficult we've ever encountered, even much more difficult than filming on Mount Everest with the altitude. Anytime you go to an environment that's this remote and untouched by humanity, it changes the way you look at the world.
Just teaches you so much about who we are as ecological beings, what we're a part of, how amazing these ecosystems are on planet Earth.
The urgency is the thing really that's hitting home now, because the place wasn't necessarily so much under threat when I first went there, 20 years ago, but now it is.
We already lost about 17% of the jungle, and if we reach the 20%, we lost.
Bruce says that we have only discovered 10% of the species on Earth. Species are going extinct every day. And so we're losing things before we even know that they exist.
I'm hoping that this documentary will inspire people to appreciate nature more than generally people do. And by appreciating something, generally you want to care for it.
Anybody watching The Last Tepui can think about what they can do in their own community and what they can do sort of more generally to reduce their impact on the earth.
We need the diversity for the whole to work, whether it's supporting initiatives far from home or supporting the ecology in your own backyard. I hope that we can be inspired by just how important diversity is.
Hi, I'm Molly Chester. And I'm John Chester.
The Biggest Little Farm, The Return picks up where The Biggest Little Farm, the movie, left off and goes deeper into storylines that both develop inside of our farm and then even at times extend outside of the farm to be able to look at the world as one whole ecosystem.
It's one thing to farm and to be engaged with nature in that way. And it's another thing to also have this storytelling sort of lens on with every action. It takes you into the interconnected ways in which these organisms are reacting and responding to find a balance for your ecosystem. There's so much fear and gloom and doom around the human relationship with the planet and the future of our existence here. And what has actually happened is the more we've done on this land, the more inspired and hopeful, because you're able to witness how incredibly resilient nature is. And it takes just a small bit of consciousness for those consequences and the ways that we interact with it to suddenly bring forth this resurgence of life. And the more curious we become about the things that scared us, the more those fears dissipate and turn into solutions.
My hope is that feeling a bit of love for that natural world, if that could come alive just a bit from seeing the movie, that I think it could spread like wildfire, because we're all missing that right now.
Disney Nature's Polar Bear, as well as National Geographic's Explore the Last Tepui and The Biggest Little Farm, The Return, are all streaming April 22nd on Disney+.
And now, here's what's new. Pack your bags and swords. We're headed to Everrealm. Join 8 teenagers as they embark to a world of fantasy in The Quest, an original series streaming May 11th.
Disney Plus joined the Earth Month celebration at Disney's Animal Kingdom in a cool way with a 50-ton sand sculpture. It took 2 sand carvers 4 days to bring the polar bear story to life. Disney Nature's Polar Bear is streaming April 22nd.
Get the mirror ball ready. Dancing with the Stars is moving to a new home when it returns this fall as the first live series on Disney+.
And don't sleep on this dream. Sneakerella, an all-new movie, starts streaming May 13th.
It's a good day for Marvel fans. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, The Defenders, and The Punisher are all now on Disney+. I think it's safe to say that a Marvel marathon might be in everyone's future.
Definitely for me. Now we have Marvel's Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, here to discuss the series. Take a look.
Hey, my name's Charlie Cox. I play Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, in Marvel's Daredevil on Disney+. Marvel's Daredevil is a crime drama which tells the story of a blind lawyer by day, superhero by night, who attempts to help people using both the law and vigilantism, and yet struggles with the morality of his actions. For me, Daredevil represents the idea that sometimes small day-to-day acts of kindness or help can make big differences and instigate large change over time. People love superheroes, and what makes Daredevil special is that this character has to struggle and sacrifice a lot in order to be impactful. And I think viewers relate to how difficult making the right decisions in life can be sometimes. I'm very grateful to have been given the opportunity to play a character who means so much to people who have perhaps struggled in their life in some way or felt held back by something in their life. And to be able to do it over the course of 3 seasons and in The Defenders, to be given the opportunity to do it for so long was a great honor. You can watch Marvel's Daredevil now streaming on Disney+.
Get those pipes warmed up and your jazz hands ready, because it's about to get musical.
In the new movie Better Nate Than Ever, 13-year-old Nate Foster dreams of becoming a big Broadway star, but can't catch a break. It's not until Nate heads to New York to audition for Lilo and Stitch the musical that he finds himself closer to stardom than ever before.
We got to chat with the cast and crew of Better Nate Than Ever. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Ruby Wood.
And I'm Arya Brooks.
I'm Joshua Bassett.
I'm Lisa Kudrow.
Hi, I'm Tim Federle, writer and director of Better Nate Than Ever.
Filming this movie was truly an incredible experience because there were so many amazing people on set, the energy and vibe on set. There was no bad days.
Filming Better Nate Than Ever was the better than ever experience I've ever had filming anything. It was great.
Tim Federle could not have brought a more amazing group of people together to create this wonderful story about finding who you are.
The joy of going back to New York City after moving to LA to run High School Musical, it was so full circle. It was Times Square and the Natural History Museum, and shooting in a real Broadway theater was a full circle experience for this former chorus boy.
You know, one of the best parts was one day we wrapped and we were in Times Square, and I was like, I think I'm just going to walk home. And they're like, are you sure? It's like at least 30 blocks. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to walk. And I would just, walk home and wander. So yeah, filming in New York, honestly, was the most magical part.
Well, I hope audiences take away that, yeah, it's not easy to be 13.
Don't let other people try to tell you how you feel. And I think it's important to really follow your heart and to listen to your inner guidance.
You are allowed to like yourself. It's okay.
You don't have to change anything about yourself to fit in. Find your people, and you will find yourself.
I hope that it inspires people to be themselves and find what they love to do.
Watch Better Nate Than Ever, now streaming on Disney+.
We explored Earth Day, heard from Marvel's Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, and took the stage with Better Nate Than Ever. That's our show.
Be sure to head on over to Disney Plus to stream all these and more. Don't forget to subscribe to the Disney Plus YouTube channel to catch episodes of What's Up Disney Plus.
Before we go, April is Autism Awareness Month, a month dedicated to celebrating differences, educating about autism, inspiring inclusion, and creating societal changes. If you want to watch some movies and series exploring the autistic experience, don't miss the Pixar Spark shorts Loop and Float, and episode 9 of Turner and Hooch, Witness Puptection, all streaming on Disney+.
We'll see you next time.
It's great. It's glorious.